Today, we are at PNC Park in Pittsburgh for a very special day. It's the CNX Mentorship Academy graduation. I wanted to come here to talk with the team and some of the students about how the Mentorship Academy has exposed them to career opportunities in their own backyard that they didn't even know existed.
It's a story that's actually pretty common for the region. People love the region. They want to stay there. They want to start a family there, career development, all that type of stuff, but recognizing limited possibilities because of what's happening economically. So I was fortunate enough to find a career in energy that kept me in the region, which was a top priority for me at the time. And then here comes, the shale revolution and sort of this resurrection of energy and how it resurrected manufacturing and the building trades and sort of what you traditionally consider to be the blue collar careers, professions, and industries. And it's just been one of the greatest things to happen in this region in a number of generations. Being in the industry and working and enjoying a career in the industry and just loving the region, how do you link those up so that the next generation of workers, they're at a minimum made aware of the opportunities across these different career paths, and then to maximum they consider them and you help them develop some skill sets and they're off and running with careers.
Western Pennsylvania has seen its fair share of booms and busts, and not so long ago, Appalachia thrived on coal and automotive and the manufacturing industries. But as those industries dwindled in the area, so did all of those job opportunities. Then the shale revolution came along and really brought with it a whole new set of opportunities. And it's really awesome to see how companies like CNX are helping bridge that gap and expose young people to these opportunities.
Before the downturn with manufacturing and energy that you saw in the late 70s and 80s, that was the career path. Get a house, a family, and you're off and running. That disappeared. So, for my sort of generation and for a long time around that period of time for subsequent generations, your economic options were, sort of going off to college and finding something maybe in a different sort of a field or leaving the region. And that's how Pittsburgh at one point in time was a top 10 city in the United States.
Growing up in the area, it was a coal region. Now it's shifted towards natural gas. That's an opportunity for kids now. And, some kids go to college, some kids just go straight into work. But in that area, there's not many high-paying jobs right there. But that's where this CNX mentorship has tied some of our students into these well-paying jobs and, meaningful careers.
The genesis of it was sort of a couple of big drivers. Love of the region, so living here all my life and just all in when it comes to Western Pennsylvania. Thinking through what it was like when I was sort of in the seat that these young professionals and graduates of the Mentorship Academy were in way back when, and not knowing anybody and not knowing anything and having no clue what these different sort of professional paths might be. So just thinking through, well, what if we could sort of take the randomness and the uncertainty out of that and wire it where the individual, the student, the young professional, if they want to pursue and understand what these different career paths are, we set it up for them. And then they go in eyes wide open.
It's all about exposure. you could pour all the money into the schools you want, you could pour all these other superficial things, but if they don't have the opportunities to actually see it for themselves, experience for themselves, it doesn't stick, And so when you come to careers, if you take that person who doesn't have the opportunity to go outside of, a specific area, they're probably limited to the careers that they know about.
We were still even defining what type of student we wanted, right? So we figured out, not the A+ students, because they have a lot of resources for them and colleges are looking at, they have more of a set path. We said, let's find those kids just going to school every day. We can't do anything with the kids that are getting into trouble because we don't have any resources for that, but maybe the kids that are just every day showing up, and they don't necessarily have a direction. I'm going to school, right? And all I got to do is go to school because that's what my mom tells me to, right?
The team behind the Mentorship Academy wakes up every day and asks themselves one big question. How do we help the next generation find their way in a world that's constantly changing? How do we show them opportunities in their own backyard?
I don't hear too many people saying when they dropped out of college that they regret dropping out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people who did graduate college always talk about debt, you know what I mean? Like you're 50 with debt from when you're 18, you know what I mean? That's kind of crazy. So
you're not wrong, man. I mean, the tuition costs have just skyrocketed, and you're not really guaranteed to, you know, be a success in life or anything like that.
I knew I didn't want to go to college. I was kind of over school, especially like towards the end of high school.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make money, have a career without college. Especially like being so young, like you need a cosigner to go buy a car, but you can get a whole bunch of college loans and be in debt. And then you can get a bunch of debt accrued, and then you can change your mind. Like you may go and find out college wasn't for you after you had already like started, and it's too late to go back.
Yeah. I love that you're talking about the, you know, college is not for everybody, and that's the path that they want to choose in life. You know, like with myself, I never finished college, but, you know, I was sold this narrative, and you can't blame the generations that kind of came before, because I think in some ways a lot of that was true back then, at least for a certain period of time, that you had to go to college to be successful, and that there was literally no other path. And if you didn't do that, I mean, everybody made the analogy, you're just, you know, flipping burgers at McDonald's. That was what was shoved down my throat my entire life.
I'll tell you, to your point, like with a Trenton, who's one of our graduates from last year and been working on the team with myself for a year now. It's been awesome. He could go to college and do really well. It's not an issue of whether he can do it. It's more of an issue of does he want to do it. And for him, right, he made that assessment. At this point in time, it's not the right path for him, and it's worked out tremendously. So that was sort of the goal of the academy.
Hands-on experience, meet them where they are, try and view it from their perspective. Despite all the stuff that's going on in our cities and in these rural communities where they don't have any resources, they start to think, I think I can do it. I see a path forward, then it changes them, right? They just say, okay, well, I'm done with this stuff to the best that they can, and I'm gonna pursue this thing. So I think that's probably the biggest, part that's missing from the story is that they're just ordinary students, right? Like, every kid has that potential.
College isn't for everyone, me included. Some people just know that is not their path in life. There are so many smart and hardworking kids that are eager to dive headfirst into the workforce.
This helps, I think, do two things. One, helps with sort of the career side of the educational system, and I think really gets people sort of de-risked where maybe they do end up going to college, but they end up working first, getting a feel for what industries they like. What type of degree do I want to go after? Probably with an employer that's going to pay for them to go pursue that degree. So it becomes a much smoother path, less risky, way more economic from a rate of return for the individual and frankly for society. But the other side are the skill sets. You know, coming out, these students are not armed with what they need to succeed, at least to the extent that they should be. So part of this we recognize, and I think all of our partners recognize, when you hire on a graduate, part of the deal is going to be arming them with the tools in that toolbox to succeed at that job in that profession.
This isn't the end, and it's not the beginning of the end, but it's the end of the beginning for you. And I think your future is beyond bright. I'm really proud to be partnering and working with a bunch of you guys at that table on our team at CNX. And I can't thank the partners out there enough, especially the ones with the hats on the table this evening. The partners are basically what helped us scale this thing to get even bigger and better over the last 3 years. I mean, we just kicked off our third class last night. That's pushing 80 students. And being able to scale it and not get intimidated and run over by that, that's going to come down to the partners and having partners that are ready to go. And also, of course, you know, from the get-go, the mentors.
We started with a meeting back last June with Audric, and he kind of showed us what the Mentorship Academy was about, and we were very interested at River Valley right away. From there, we had about 10 kids show interest, and throughout the year, the Mentorship Academy's been great for us and for our students.
It was really just like it was really just a big confidence booster.
Yeah.
Because I understood what I had, and also like the places they were taking us to, a lot of them were like wanting me to work for them. That kind of gave me confidence, just feel like I could really do whatever I wanted to do. You know what I mean? So even what I'm doing now, like I said, this is not something I've ever heard of before I started doing it. You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of ways to make money. You know what I mean? And that's what I was worried about, making money.
So a little bit about the mentors and who they are, what type of people they are. So it started with just CNX employees. It grew. Evolution was the first company to say, how do we get involved with this more than just a site visit? And we didn't know, you want to be a mentor? And Ryan said, sure, I'll be a mentor. And so now we had 2 evolution mentors. And then deep well, Sabo, he's got his own, philanthropic community thing that he does. He saw what we're doing. He said, I want to be a mentor as well. So these, now what we have are people that want to, reinvest in their communities, people that have like a business objective they're trying to meet. Like Ryan is trying to hire folks. He's got to ramp up. He needs 100 new people. So we have the workforce folks. We have those mentors, but we knew we needed life help, right? We knew we needed people that can deal with the tougher stuff, right? So, when you hear of, they're having issues at home with dad, they've run away. We've had that. We've had people involved with like gun violence. We need another level of, mentor that could be a little bit more like their ears to the ground, kind of know a little bit more about kind of what's happening in these communities. So then we created like a whole mentor system for them. Some of them are basketball coaches, AAU coaches, or some type of role in a school. So now we have a bit like an army of like professionals that know how to work with kids.
Change like this doesn't happen in a vacuum. It really takes an entire village of community leaders, educators, and visionaries like Nick who really see what's possible. It's cool to see what they're doing in Appalachia, but I think what excites me the most is how they have built a blueprint that they're willing to share and that can be repeated in other areas all across the nation.
One graduate that comes to mind, he actually came to us as a junior with the first cohort, and that first day, his mom actually had to sit at the kickoff with him because he was completely disengaged. I don't even know that he spoke that much unless he was specifically asked a question. And this year he's employed. He got the job with the company that he wanted. And he's one of our biggest advocates. He's one of the first people asking questions. He's getting other kids involved. So he's really kind of honed in on his own leadership skills. And it's beautiful when you see that. You have students that, again, we were talking about one of the students that wanted to be a YouTube gamer. And so now he's kind of like, okay, it's not that I don't want to do that, but I need to do something to help supplement that until I get a good base going. So it's just helping them see that you can have multiple dreams. You're not committed to any one thing. It's just, being willing to take a risk, step outside and try something new.
From the get-go, the one thing that I think we got right was this attitude of, let's open source this. Be completely transparent on what we're doing, how we're doing it. There is no secret sauce. Everything is wide open to either join along or copy. So, this can be copied and scaled in Colorado or in Texas, right, or anywhere else where you would want to duplicate this. And anybody interested in that, come visit us. We'll share everything we've got. So there's, like I said, it's open sourced, open coded, or it's also designed to scale up. So if there is another individual entity or a company or a mentor that wants to join the effort, and right now, scaling, I think, is our current challenge. I mean, we went from, if you look at the graduating class this evening, it's over double what it was last year. And then with the job opportunities. And then last night, we kicked off our 3rd year of students coming in. It's pushing 80 students. So this thing is just scaling up.
So you had 80 coming in this year. Was it 40 last year?
About 40, yeah.
What was it the first year?
About 30, 35. So
that's crazy growth. That's awesome.
One of the things that I always tell them is, you're driving the vehicle. We're here to be whatever support. Okay, your brakes go out. Okay, we can help you with that. Okay, you need help getting up this hill. We'll get behind you and push you up this hill, but you're driving it. Yeah. If you don't show up, I can't do much but reach out and ask you to show. But once you come and you trust the process and you engage, whatever you want, we'll figure out how to get you there. We don't guarantee anything because we don't have that power. Yeah. But we can put you in the best position so that it's very hard for them to tell you no. And that's what we try and do.
These graduates are stepping out not just with diplomas, but with a real sense of direction and possibility. And this story of transformation in the Appalachia area is a powerful reminder that when the community wants to pull together, they can turn some of these challenges that they're facing into some massive opportunities. And so thanks for joining us on the video. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in putting something like this together, if you want the blueprint, please reach out to myself, reach out to Nick, or anybody else at the Mentorship Academy. We'll be happy to plug you guys in. Thanks for watching.